Good evening. Welcome to I'll Talk to You. My name is Les, spirit name I'll Talk. On today, I will be performing a 2024 U.S. presidential election tarot prediction read. To begin, just to indicate all the cards that have come out, we have the World or Universe card in the upright, the Chariot card in the reverse, the Princess or Page of Cups in upright, the Knight or King of Swords upright, the Knight or King of Discs upright, the Ten of Wands upright, the Fool card in the reverse, the Prince or Knight of Discs, the Queen of Cups, the Star card, the Six of Wands in the reverse, the Princess or Page of Swords in the reverse, and the Hierophant in the upright. So I'm just going to briefly look over the cards to get an understanding of the message that's coming through. Okay, to begin, we have the World or Universe card followed by the Chariot in reverse. These two first cards to me indicates the energy of the voters, I would say. I feel that this particular election may have an almost historic voter turnout because with the universe coming out in the upright rather than the reverse, it indicates more of a collective population. Had it shown up in the reverse, it would indicate more of an individual level, therefore less people involved. And because it's showing up in the upright, I feel that there's going to be a great number of people who will want to go out and vote, so there may be a lot more higher numbers in voter turnout than in previous years, but we will see on that. Of course, everything is just a prediction. Nothing is set in stone in the future. With that followed by the Chariot in reverse, I feel that this is definitely relating to the American population itself. The Chariot in the upright indicates an energy of great travel or great distance because it's coming up in the reverse. It indicates more of a home level energy or more of a immediate surrounding or community energy. So with this following the World card, it definitely feels like there's going to be more day-to-day people going out to vote, people who aren't necessarily interested in politics, that could contribute to this World card coming out. These next four cards, the Princess of Cups, Knight of Swords, Knight of Discs, and Ten of Wands, honestly gives me the impression of the presidential candidates themselves. Although there are three individual cards, I'll get into the energy overall, but it feels like intuitively, based on the energy feelings I'm receiving from the cards themselves, it feels like presidential candidate Harris is just this Princess of Cups here, while presidential candidate Trump is acting both as the Knight of Swords and the Knight of Discs. So presidential Harris seems to be more emotionally concerned about whether she will win the election or not, whereas presidential candidate Trump seems to be more concerned about his intentions, his actions, and the results of if he could possibly win the election. He's more concerned about what he will do in the office. She's just more concerned about, I really feel that she's just happy to be in the position that she is, honestly, especially given the fact of how she got into the race after current President Biden dropped out of the race. She then picked up the election trial. So it could be that she genuinely was not as interested in becoming president as presidential candidate Trump, but because the Knight of Swords and the Knight of Discs specifically are coming out, it honestly feels like he may have some kind of ulterior motive going on. Had the Knight of Wands emerged, I personally see that particular card as being more effort driven, work driven, work intended, rather than the Knight of Swords, who has the potential to be manipulative or cunning, and the Knight of Discs, who has the potential to be a bit possessive and materially obsessed. And with these three cards, they are followed by the Ten of Wands in the upright. So even though they have different intentions for their individual campaigns, they both want the position. They both will work hard to win over the American people's favor. Both of them want to win this election, and that's very prominent in this Ten of Wands card. Even though they have different intentions and different feelings about their campaigns and about the election itself. Excuse me. So I feel that this top row here is just a people situation, or the feelings of the people involved, so the voters and the candidates themselves. This bottom row here, we have the Fool in the reverse, followed by the Prince of Discs, Queen of Cups, Star, Six of Wands reverse, and Princess of Swords reverse. I think this card also relates to both candidates. They both are being strategic, and they both have been strategic in their campaign. And they both have been strategic in their campaign, and they both are purposeful in what they are wanting to achieve with the campaign and with the election. Followed by the Prince of Discs and the Queen of Cups. I feel this could possibly be the outcome feelings of both candidates. The Prince of Discs being candidate Trump, and the Queen of Cups being candidate Harris, especially since this Queen of Cups showed up directly beneath the Princess of Cups. This indicates to me that regardless of which candidate wins, I feel that candidate Trump is I feel that candidate Trump is going to be in some way satisfied with either outcome. The Prince of Disc is not an as mature person when it comes to his material possessions. He's very possessive about his material possession. He wants lots of material possessions and wealth and status and satisfaction. But if he doesn't have it, he simply doesn't have it, and he's okay with it because he knows that there are other things out in the world that he can go and get. Whereas candidate Harris seems to be a very emotionally mature person, so whether she does or does not win, she is going to accept either result, and she'll be very mature and very, very professional and expressive about how she feels. And I think that if she doesn't win, she would genuinely congratulate then President-elect, but for now, candidate Trump, on his win. So either way, I think that candidate Harris is going to accept a defeat or a win very well. Whereas candidate Trump may not be the best in reacting if he doesn't win. Or even if he does win, he may react very similar to his past one, where he still attempted to get votes reconsidered. I feel that he would have a similar reaction again this time around, regardless of if he does or doesn't win. With these followed by the star card, and yes, the star card and the Six of Wands in the reverse. This honestly feels like it's going to be left up to chance. We have absolutely no idea who's going to win until the very last moment. I say that because the star card is a spiritualism card. It's more so for manifestation. It's more so for work with the higher self rather than the earthly self. So it's not going to have much to do with the voter turnout. The voter turnout isn't going to be as important as it seems. And that for some reason, intuitively, I'm picking up on that there may be issues with the voting itself because this is coming out, and the intuition that I'm receiving from this as I'm channeling the messages. It feels like that for a higher reason, there's going to be some kind of issue with voting and with voter counts. And that's also supported by the Six of Wands in the reverse. Had the Six of Wands come out in the upright, that would have indicated direct work from the people involved. But because it's in the reverse, following the star card, this gives me the feeling that this definitely relates directly back to the star, and that it is going to be left up to a higher power. It's going to be left up to chance on who wins or not. It's not, it won't be an easy way to see who's going to win. It won't be an easy prediction on who will win. It really most likely will come down to the last single vote or the last few votes at the very last few minutes of the election period. And with these follow the Princess of Swords. So this again, I would say, relates back to these previous two cards, in that the Princess of Swords, had it come out upright, that would indicate someone who is choosing to mentally process for themselves. Someone who's willing to take action and responsibility for themselves. But because it's coming up in the reverse, it gives an indication of personal distance. Again, like these two cards, like there is a higher power, a higher force that's going to be over this election. It's not going to be as clear cut in voting as it seems. These last three cards really feel as if there is going to be some situation, I intuitively feel some situation that involves the voting process as well as vote counts, I would say. I genuinely intuitively feel that this is going to be a very close election, and we may not even know the true winner until sometime after the voting period ends, because that's how close the counting is going to be, I feel. Now, this last card, I originally was only going to accept these 12 cards, but this last card came out, and I think that this is a final outcome card. This is the Hierophant card. The Hierophant card indicates tradition. And because the tradition card came out, I honestly feel like that the winner of this election is going to be the individual who is seen as American traditional, which would be presidential candidate Trump. He is quite frankly, the white masculine between the two, which is considered a traditional social status here in the US based on how history has gone thus far and how it's continuing to go. So, because this card decided to come out last, despite the rest of this, I think that this is going to be a close election campaign. But ultimately, presidential candidate Trump will prevail, I feel, just because this card came out at the very last moment. And so that will conclude my predictions of the 2024 U.S. presidential elections. I will, however, like to ask Spirit if I may complete Celtic Cross divinations for each presidential candidate. And if I am able to, then I will also perform those. So just to reshuffle, and then I will ask for a single card for each candidate of a yes or no if I may perform Celtic Cross divinations for them, just to understand how they personally more deeply are feeling. Okay, first I would like to ask if I may perform a Celtic Cross divination for presidential candidate Trump. A single card, yes or no. Okay, so the Six of Wands in the upright came out. This was the first clear card that came out. The Six of Wands in the upright, the card actually says victory, so I'm going to accept this as a yes. I will perform a Celtic Cross divination for presidential candidate Trump. I would like to ask if I may perform a Celtic Cross divination for presidential candidate Harris. Okay, so the Prince of Wands came out in the upright for if I can perform a Celtic Cross divination for presidential candidate Harris. I am also accepting this as a yes, so I will proceed with Celtic crosses for both candidates. Okay, so I went ahead and I reshuffled the cards off screen just to get clear messages to come through for each individual candidate, and so that it would be separate from the messages of the election itself. So I'll go ahead and shuffle out the cards into the crosses. Okay, to begin, I have completed the Celtic crosses for candidate Trump and for candidate Harris. As their sense of self, candidate Trump is presenting as the Princess of Swords in reverse, while candidate Harris is presenting as the Sun card in reverse. This to me indicates that candidate Harris may have a more confident sense of self around her, even though she feels unlike herself because the Sun is in the reverse. It's still the Sun card, and it's quite frankly the Sun card is greater than the Princess of Swords card. So she's not entirely herself. That could be just because it's a new situation for her. It will be a new environment, a new position, a new set of responsibilities for her. So she's feeling not like herself, but I would say that it's more so directing her to become more of herself, of her genuine, true, authentic self, whereas candidate Trump is showing up as someone who is a bit feeble-minded, I would say, a bit mentally not entirely insecure, but maybe he does have some mental insecurities. He could be a bit more nervous about the election than candidate Harris, but he doesn't entirely feel mentally resolved with this. Showing up in what is crossing or challenging each candidate. Candidate Trump has the devil card, so it could be that he feels that this election is a lot more difficult than what he was expecting or what he's wanting, but he definitely feels like he may even feel to the point of being almost neurotic or paranoid, but he feels that there is some kind of malevolent force that is working against him, which is why the devil specifically is showing up in the challenge area. And that could also relate to this Princess of Swords in verse, where he has some insecurities. He thinks that there is some energy or some force or something around him that is working against him. Whereas candidate Harris has the Nine of Wands in her challenge area. The Nine of Wands card by itself is actually a fairly decent card. It's actually titled The Strength because it indicates hard work towards a goal. It's not the Ten of Wands, so it's not complete fulfillment, or completion of the subject that you're working towards, because Wands is the physical effort suit. It's active work towards a goal or pursuit, and it's also being able to achieve that goal or to receive the outcome that you're wanting to receive. Because this is a challenge area, with this showing up in her challenge area along with the Sun in reverse and being her sense of self, it may be that what she's wanting is absolutely the presidency. That would be the Ten of Wands. And so because the Nine of Wands is showing in her challenge area, it more so indicates that for her mentally, losing this election, which would be that missing wand, is a challenge for her. It seems that she has it entirely set in her mind that she is going to win. She wants to win this election, this presidency, to the point that the option of losing isn't an option. That one single wand, which is the presidency, is so much of a challenge for her. Now, showing up in their foundations, which can indicate their beliefs, their values, but also their consciousness. Candidate Trump has the Prince of Wands. This is showing up in the reverse for his foundation, so this indicates that typically what he values is hard work. That would be the Prince of Wands in the upright. Because it's the Prince of Wands showing up for him, it could indicate that even though he values hard work, he may not be the most hardworking person, since it's the Prince. It's not the Knight or the King, which would be the more higher masculine form for the wand suit. And this is showing up in the reverse for him in his value system, so that indicates that currently the things that he values, he wants for himself, he's actually not receiving quite yet. For some reason, I can pull clarifiers later on to understand the situation of what it is he's wanting to receive but not receiving in his foundations and his beliefs, or to understand what those beliefs are, but we can get some more understanding on that later. Candidate Harris has the Hanged Man showing up for her in her foundations, beliefs, values, and consciousness. placement. For this, let me see. She values understanding. The Hangman card indicates he's the hangman because he's essentially trying to gain a different perspective. He's not upright looking straight ahead forward at his surroundings. He's upside down because he's intentionally wanting to look differently. So it seems like that she values very much insight and being knowledgeable, and she's wanting to learn and grow, and that's something that she deeply values. In their higher self or their unconsciousness, candidate Harris has the Ten of Swords coming out. This can indicate that, and maybe this relates back to this Sun card coming out for her sense of self in the reverse. The Ten of Swords indicates that she's thinking very heavily on something. However, this is the unconsciousness. So she's not even aware, but there is something that is occurring for her that if she was aware of it, it would cause her a great deal of mental grief and anguish. The Ten of Swords is entirely overthinking. It's putting all of your mental thought process into a single situation. And this is happening in her unconscious. This could also be why she's showing up as not herself. There is something deeply going on with her that she's simply not aware about. I can pull clarifiers to get an idea of what the situation is later on. For President Trump, his higher self or his unconsciousness is showing up as the Three of Swords in the reverse. To me, this indicates that unconsciously he is wanting to be in mental alignment with a group, with others, and I feel that the others would be the American people. Unconsciously, he absolutely is wanting to be essentially on the same page as what he's seeing, which I assume would be the American voters. But because it's showing up in the reverse, it indicates that that is actually not happening. He's not seeing eye to eye with those that he wants to. And he may not even be aware of it. He may have a sense of confidence about him, and he did show up as the Knight of Swords and Knight of Discs in the election prediction read. So he may have a sense of confidence about him, but it may be a false confidence in that what he feels he is achieving or working towards, he's actually not in alignment with it. Showing up in their past selves, candidate Harris has the Chariot card in reverse. This indicates someone who is unwilling to change. I, quite frankly, feel that this relates to herself before the election. It seems that she was kind of pushed into the election because she did run after President Biden dropped out of the election, and so it feels like that this is her past energy because she was unmoving in her position. She was willing to stay the same. She really wasn't looking or interested in the presidency until her current partner was unable to move forward with his pursuit towards a re-election. For candidate Trump, in his past self, he has the Knight of Discs reverse. And this is very interesting to me because this came as the upright in the election prediction read. So this confirms that they actually confirm each other. He used to be in a Knight of Discs energy, meaning that he was a bit insecure about his physical surroundings, his material possessions, his self-satisfaction. I believe the self-satisfaction may have to do, intuitively feels it may have to do with the election itself. He wasn't happy with how it was going, but he's thus since moved out of it, since this card did come in the upright for his energy in the prediction read. Moving forward, their future selves, however, candidate Trump has the Four of Wands. I feel I did predict in the election prediction read that candidate Trump may win because the Hierophant card, the traditions card, came out, and he represents a traditional social status within the country. This particular card is a partnership card. It's actually working towards and receiving with a partner. It's the Four of Wands. And since this is showing up in his future, I feel that this is another indicator that he may be winning the presidency. And I can pull clarifiers just to see if maybe it is confirmed. With candidate Harris showing up as the Princess of Cups in the reverse for her future, this is the same card that she first appeared as, though in the upright, during the election prediction read. So the fact, I think that both of these cards can reconfirm my prediction that candidate Trump will be the winner of this election, because this card is now showing up in the verse. Along with this and what I just stated regarding candidate Trump, for candidate Harris, this card is now showing up in the verse, meaning that the happiness, the excitement that she had been feeling during the election period, she will no longer be having moving forward. For their internal interests or internal factors, what's going on within themselves, candidate Harris has the World or the Universe card in the reverse. This, I think this relates back to the Ten of Swords and the Sun in reverse. The World card in the reverse indicates someone who is needing to go out into the world and to explore and to learn and grow from what they experience, but is unwilling to do so or is simply not doing so. And it feels that she is needing to learn and grow and do more. And I think that's why she's also experiencing this hangman in her foundations currently. It may be that she's currently in the process of gaining more understanding and more learning. She may simply need more experience before she's prepared for presidency. It's starting to feel like, but she's definitely needing to experience more before she's able to turn this upright and be able to expand. For candidate Trump, he has mental resolve. Even though he came out as the Princess of Swords in the reverse for himself, the Two of Swords indicates that he's actually mentally satisfied with himself. So it could be that this Princess of Swords indicates that he's in more of a feminine, receptive mental energy, which isn't entirely in alignment with his true self. He is a masculine individual, and so that could be why the Princess of Swords is showing out in the reverse, while the Two of Swords is showing out for his internal factors. Or it could be that, I will pull clarifiers just to be sure, but it also could be that he's simply mentally comfortable with himself. It may not be that he has the best thought process or he is actually mentally confident. It could be that he just feels this way. that's very much so possible. I will definitely pull clarifiers just to be sure for this. Showing up in the external factors or surrounding situations, the surrounding environment for each candidate. Candidate Trump has the Ace of Discs. So with this card, excuse me, it looks like he is observing or experiencing creation out into the world. New ideas being put out into the world. This intuitively feels as if he is already beginning work that he would like to move forward with during his presidency. Just intuitively for me, what I'm picking up from this card is that these discs refer to his potentially future presidential work. He's already beginning to make plans and set intentions for that, is what this card feels like intuitively. Candidate Harris has the Seven of Wands in her external factors. So what this says to me is that intuitively this feels like it's related to her campaigning. She's working hard to, intuitively I feel, to earn the trust of the American people, but with the Seven of Wands, she's falling short in doing so. So whatever is going on around her, she has a particular intention, a particular outcome that she's wanting to see that she's simply not seeing. Showing up in their hopes and or fears. Candidate Harris has the Three of Wands. I will pull clarifiers to understand if this is a hope or a fear. But what this could indicate, because it's the Three of Wands, I am feeling that this is more so a fear than it could be a hope or fear. The Three of Wands, so all cards are neutral. Cards are only positive or negative depending on the message of the card read, so what other cards have come out along with it. So the Three of Wands is about physical effort. The Wand suit is about physical effort, physical manifestation, putting earthly labor into creating something or into outputting a product. Because this is the Three of Wands, this refers to a third party or a group manifestation. It feels like that what she's hoping for is to work with others, and I intuitively feel that those others are the American people. She's wanting to gain the trust and the support of the American people. However, this could also be a fear, because if it is the Three of Wands, it indicates that it's falling short of a partnership. The Four of Wands here would be the partnership card. The Three of Wands is falling just short of it. So it could be interpreted in multiple ways, and I will pull clarifiers just to understand. For candidate Trump's hopes or fears, he has the Five of Discs in the reverse. Okay, so this feels like it may be more so a fear. The Five of Discs in the reverse indicates someone who's wanting to see physical change around themselves, but they simply are not. The Five of Discs upright is a complete change in material possessions or physical surroundings. And so with this being in the reverse, that change is not happening. Intuitively, I am assuming that the change referred to by the five of this would be a new position or a newer position, which would be the presidency. And so this could be a worry for him because he's worried that he may not receive that. In the final outcome for the crosses, candidate Trump has the Eight of Wands. This honestly feels like this card by itself right away feels like that it's giving the impression that he will lose the election because it's the Eight of Wands. The Eight of Wands is working towards something, but it's continuous work, and so because it's in the final outcome, it feels like that whatever he is currently doing, he's going to keep doing. But this is the first indicator from the current Celtic Cross spread, but also the election prediction read that he could lose this elections. And I did say in the prediction that it could be very close, even though I ultimately concluded that candidate Trump may be the winner. This is the first card that indicates that he may not win, or it could be, as I said, cards can be neutral. It could be that the continual work represented by the Eight of Wands is his pursuit for presidency. If he currently feels, which maybe he does with this Two of Swords, that he is president, then he would maintain that same feeling, that same mindset when he actually is president if he wins. But I can pull clarifiers just to confirm if maybe this is to confirm which direction the energy is going. For candidate Harris, in her final outcome, she has the Death card in reverse. To me, this feels as if she's still needing time to grow and expand. She has yet to experience this Death card in the upright, which would be essentially ego death. It's complete self-transformation. She's not yet experiencing it, but it is coming up close for her because the Death card still came out. Other cards, any other card could have come out, but the Death card specifically came out. So the energy of ego death and self-evolution is in her aura, and maybe that could also be the Ten of Swords, because the ego death is something that is very challenging. It's something that people could consider as being a Ten of Swords. So it's very possible that she is in the process of evolving and undergoing evolution, but it's simply not within her timing. Not right now, at least. So I would like to pull a few clarifiers. I first would like to clarify this hangman. I would like to know the situation that candidate Harris is looking at to gain different understanding, because she does have the change of perspective card within her foundation, so she's intentionally trying to look differently at the world, and I would like to know about this energy. Okay, so with these cards, we have the Four of Pentacles in the reverse, followed by the Nine of Cups upright, followed by, the Two of Rods in the reverse, and the Eight of Pentacles in the reverse. This tells me that this hangman is related to this Death card, because I want to know what was the situation she's looking at. She's looking at the fact that she is not in physical partnership and in alignment. I feel that the partnership is the presidency. I think that she has some concerns. I would say she definitely has some concerns since this Nine of Wands showed up in her challenge area. She doesn't feel as if she's working hard enough towards what she's wanting. And so from this Four of Pentacles, she sees that she has happiness with the Nine of Cups, but she doesn't have complete happiness, which would be the 10th cup, the one cup that's missing. And because of this, she feels out of alignment with herself to the point that she feels she's not able to properly bring in what she wants, with this Two of Rods or Two of Wands in the reverse. That indicates an energy of someone who is trying to work and balance themselves in pursuit of a particular goal, but they're unable to achieve that goal. And it honestly feels like this also relates back to this Nine of Wands, where she's not achieving because she's missing the single wand, which I intuitively feel is the presidency. I think she has some concerns about winning the presidency. She has maybe some insecurity, but intuitively, she doesn't feel entirely certain about the presidency. I would just say that's from just my psychic intuition. I feel she doesn't feel entirely certain to me. And so with these, it's followed with the Eight of Pentacles. This can indicate very similarly to the Two of Wands in the reverse, where someone is diligently working on towards making, creating, and having these pentacles, but it's in the reverse, so they're not receiving. And so the way these relate to this Hangman is that what she's looking at is she's looking at the fact that she's not receiving. She's not entirely happy. And so this confirms this Death card in the reverse, where she is starting to look closer at herself. That's what this Hangman was for. The Hangman is for this Death card. So I essentially clarified both of those just now. For candidate Trump, I would like to understand better this Ace of Discs that showed up in his external factors. Okay, so I only need 2 cards for this. These 2 cards pretty much clear up the situation for me. Or maybe not. The Nine of Pentacles followed by the Four of Cups. What he's wanting to see around himself is the thing that he's missing, and I'm assuming it's the presidency. He has the Nine of Pentacles showing up in the reverse, which indicates someone who is in a situation of seeing what it is that they want, what it is that could fulfill them, and they're unable to achieve that. With this followed by the Four of Cups, this is someone who is in emotional unalignment with a partner or partnership, and I feel that this partnership is the presidency, and I actually have to clarify that with the Four of Wands as well. But what he's trying to create is the presidency, and it feels that this is showing up around him rather than in him, because it's almost it's missing him. he's not actually achieving it. But this is the energy that essentially is being exerted outward around him. I will go ahead and clarify this Four of Wands. I would like to clarify the Four of Wands and the Seven of Wands just to see if maybe there is a reconfirmation for my initial predictions of candidate Trump winning the election over candidate Harris. So we'll see if those come out, because these two on their own do indicate that, since yes, these two do indicate that, because this was showing up, the Seven of Wands was showing up for candidate Harris external factors, while the Four of Wands was showing up for candidate Trump's future self. Okay, to clarify the Four of Wands and candidate Trump's future outcome, it feels that these do further confirm candidate Trump winning the election, with the Eight of Wands, the Eight of Rods or Wands, first coming out, and this is the same card as his final outcome, which I did predict may indicate that since he's currently working towards presidency, he will continue to work towards presidency, but in the actual position versus being a candidate. That's how I initially interpreted this Eight of Wands for his final outcome. And I think this again confirms, but I will pull clarifiers for this just to be sure, because this is its own card. And if I would like to clarify this energy, I can do so. But the Eight of Wands is followed by the Temperance in the reverse. The Temperance card is a balancing card, and so this can indicate that he's unbalanced, but I intuitively feel that this unbalance that he's experienced is just the stress of the presidency. That's what it intuitively feels like for me. But it does indicate great mental resolve. You have to be mentally resolved, which he does have to some extent with his Two of Swords showing up in his internal factors. But you have to be extremely level-headed to perform the duties of presidency. And even though this is showing up in the reverse, the fact that this card came out at all does indicate that there is at least some sense of balance. It may not be complete balance since it's upright, but there is at least a sense or an aura of this existence. To clarify candidate Harris's Seven of Wands in her external factors, we have the Three of Swords in the reverse and the Queen of Pentacles in the reverse. This honestly feels like the wands that she's working is towards. Intuitively, to me, this feels as if these cards represent the U.S. and the American people. With the Three of Swords, this card indicates a upright, it could indicate mental conflict, but also mental agreement with third-party situations. Because it's in the reverse, it feels like what she's working towards is on the Three of Swords reverse, so it's trying to turn this upright. It's working on understanding a third party situation or a group situation, which I feel refers to the American people. She is running for president. She's wanting to gain the support of the American people, and so what she's working on is towards this. And I feel that she sees the U.S. as currently being a Queen of Pentacles in reverse. So it could be that because she is also feminine, she just views the world in a feminine manner, and therefore the world or her physical surroundings presents feminine as well. But with this being the Queen of Pentacles, it's someone who is a feminine figure that has everything that they want. Yet this is coming up in the reverse, and I intuitively am picking up that she sees the U.S. as being the Queen of Pentacles in reverse because she knows that it has the potential to be wealthy, to be well taken care of, to be a prosperous nation, but it's not in that energy yet, and so that's what she's working towards to correct, I would say. And I will go ahead and finally clarify this specific Eight of Wands just to be sure if just to see if we can get another confirmation towards the election results. Okay. What psychically showed up when I first saw this card was, I'm not new to this, I'm true to this. And I say that because to clarify this Eight of Wands, the Page of Wands came out in the reverse. The Page of Wands upright indicates someone who is, I would say, more of in an apprenticeship in working towards their craft, but it's showing up in the reverse, so it feels as if he's saying, I'm not new to this. I have new energy because it's the Page of Wands, but I'm not it. I'm not this new energy. And especially with it being followed by the Tower in the reverse, this is the opposite of a conflict, of a challenging situation. And just these two feel intuitively feel as if he is rejecting these energies essentially by them coming out in the reverse. That's very strongly how they feel intuitively. That he has the ability to make new creations, and he certainly does because this Ace of Discs comes out in his external. But he doesn't need to. He's what's the word I'm looking for? He's mature in his ability to create and in his ability to receive what he wants. He, just like the Temperance came out in the reverse, where it indicates an unbalanced situation, but because that was the balance card itself instead of another card that could come out and essentially have a similar interpretation. It's a similar situation here with the Tower. It's a great conflict. The Tower is very similar to the Death in that once someone overcomes this conflict, this challenge, they are going to grow and they are going to learn. It feels that because he's experienced presidency before, he's prepared, essentially. And that could also be indicated with the Page of Rods. He's not this beginner stage individual. He is... It's a specific term that I'm looking for that my mind is blanking on. He has aged into his career, essentially. He is prepared for presidency, and I feel that this indicates that. And with the King of Swords, this is another indicator that... So... These don't necessarily indicate that he does win the presidency, but I think it indicates more so his mindset. And I think with these clarifying this Eight of Wands, let me finish with the King of Swords first. But the King of Swords, so all of these came out in reverse, and it feels as if he's saying, I could be experiencing these upright, but I'm not, because I'm moved beyond these energies. The King of Swords is someone who, they are well-thinking, they are well-planned, strategic, but they can also be prone to overthinking, to being prone to having an almost tyrant energy, and that they're wanting to have complete control over their situation, but also situations around them. He's not in any of these energies where he feels that he is a mature being. And with these clarifying this Eight of Wands, I now feel neutrally about this Eight of Wands. I think... Okay, maybe I shouldn't say that. I think that this is a hidden way to confirm the presidency, because his final outcome, he's still working towards the same goal that he has had, which is towards presidency. And if it's his final outcome, that means that if he's still working towards presidency, he could be working towards presidency as president, not just as a candidate. And I feel that these confirm that energy, that he will continue to maintain his mental stance, his mental position of how he feels. He feels that he is able to tackle the responsibilities of presidency. And he has before, because he has won an election before. So that's how that feels. Ultimately, I do conclude that my prediction for the 2024 U.S. presidential election, the winner would be candidate Trump. I feel that candidate Harris, based on the Celtic Cross, it doesn't feel as if she's fully mentally prepared. It feels like she has, for whatever reason, she has more growing and understanding and learning to undergo, whereas candidate Trump seems to be more confident in himself, and honestly, a little bit here in his Celtic Cross with the Eight of Wands and the Four of Wands, but more so that Hierophant card that came out in the election prediction, I do feel that the election will lean more towards candidate Trump than it does to candidate Harris. And if that is the outcome, I think candidate Harris is going to be a very respectful, a very graceful, and supportive person towards candidate Trump, because the Prince of Discs in the reverse came out as a potential outcome for candidate Trump. I think that if he does win or if he doesn't win, there still may be something that he's going to bring up that is unsettling to him. That's the impression I got from that particular card. But either way, this is my read, my prediction. I thank you very much for watching the video. If you've stayed this long, if you enjoyed the reading, my style of reading, I would appreciate it if you gave the video a like. I am a new channel. If you have any feedback for me or if you have anything that you want to share with me, please feel free to leave a comment. If you would like to expect more content from me, please feel free to subscribe to the channel. I thank you very much. I love you very much, and I hope you have a great evening.